Well, you know,
Do it over.
do it over. You know, I think a lot of people, and look, as I've traveled this journey learning about the Sunshine Law, I'll have to admit that I learned something in that. If an organization if a complaint is filed and they're found guilty of not following the Sunshine Law, then whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, or the last 40 years, everything that they have done has to be erased.
That could get interesting.
And all public votes have to be taken.
Think about that.
Well, you know, it goes back to, again, these are all educated people that certainly have staff around them that certainly could ask for an opinion from any number of people, and all roads would take them to, if you're spending public dollars, you're going to have your meeting in public. And I tell you what, I'll go a little bit further in what the Maritime Park Board has done. They are now allowing 30 minutes of public comment, 3 minutes per person, before the meeting starts.
Right.
Okay? Their agenda is thin at best. For example, this last week it said appointment of trustees. Okay, well, I'm a citizen. I look at the agenda. I don't know which trustee they might want to appoint. I might like that trustee, or I might have an objection. If I'm not allowed to talk during that meeting after it is made known who that trustee might be, I think at best they have put a Band-Aid on it. They've tried to put a smile on it and move on. I hope somebody files a complaint against them.
If they're not following Sunshine Law, somebody needs to.
A line in the sand has to be drawn. We have to force our government entities, our public-private entities. I mean, look, we even have sometimes I'm a little concerned about commissions, much less these public-privates. The public-privates, every one of them I've looked at, are blatantly violating the law. Blatantly. Doing it on purpose when they've been told to stop doing it.
But they're still holding their hand out and taking our money.
That's right, absolutely. Well, still holding their hand out and taking your money, ladies and gentlemen. And you need to get just as mad about it as Deborah and I are. I mean, it's a pitiful, pitiful situation. Now, the very next day, there was a meeting of the Maritime Park Board. And Deborah and I mean, we made our comments at the City Council meeting. And so we wanted to go see what was going to happen. So we have a little clip from my performance at the Maritime Park Board. I do have a question. I would like to know, is this board concerned that all the business that has been conducted before, because of the potential sunshine, may all be erased? Does this board have a concern about that? Well, I'll take that as a no, that you don't have a concern. I think you should be concerned.
Well, our little horsefly is buzzed over to Pensacola, and
it was a target-rich environment.
Giving them an earful.
It was a target-rich environment. You know, I mean, it was simply...
My favorite part was when you asked them the question. And
did any of them care?
Right. Well, no. You asked them, "Are you concerned?"
Right. Are you concerned that you might be in violation?
Or that you might have to do some of this stuff over?
Right.
And there was just dead silence.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for it to
be
be over.
You could hear the little cricket in the background. Yeah. Chirp, chirp. You know, and the one thing that I wanted to point out to them, collectively and individually, there are fines and imprisonment and redo of the work. You know, it just amazes me. Those board members on that Maritime Park, it won't be just the chairman and the mayor that gets in trouble. It's going to be all of them. I tell you, I'm just so disgusted over that. You know, I feel good that we were able to go over there and have an impact. I believe we did. You were mentioning the newspaper to the left on...
Well, then they took it out. Actually, they took everything from the League of Women Voters and most of what Sharon Barnett, the lawyer,
Right, pulled it off the article
and
online.
my quote. I think
Right.
my quote they put in at night, and then I think when the normal editor got in and saw it,
Right.
somebody probably got in trouble for quoting
And
it.
so you got mentioned, and then on the next
And
day,
then removed.
you were mentioned, removed. Then the next day they did quote me, and I wasn't trying to beat them to death over there, but my goodness, follow the law, do what's right by the people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you enjoyed that. It was, I tell you, I enjoyed it. A new place, a new scenery, but it seems like the same issues everywhere we go.
It was deja vu.
Yeah, I mean it's a bizarro world, and the same thing happening everywhere. So we're going to stay on top of this story, and we'll probably do some updates from time to time. We want to remind you again that we're on MediaCom Channel 27 every Saturday from 4:30 until 5. And if you look right here, you will see that we are now on YouTube, Santa Rosa Week. All of our shows are going to be uploaded to YouTube. They'll be kind of segmented. You'll watch A, B, and C. And so wherever you're at, on a computer, any place you have access to the internet, you'll be able to watch our shows, catch up with the shows.
And please feel free to email us with any tips or any stories you'd like to see covered.
Absolutely. We'd like to hear from you. We're here to serve you. And we'll say a happy good night.
Good night.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Horsefly. I happened to notice that the newspaper to my left, Pensacola News Journal, recently had an editorial. I happen to have it right here in my fingers. Public comment a must. They're discussing the community maritime park. Wow. Way to jump in there, Pensacola News Journal. Way to jump in after it's been discussed all over the place, up one side and down the other. Where were you at, Pensacola News Journal, 2 years ago when this board started? Where were you at, Pensacola News Journal? This has been going on for 2 years. Only now that a citizen such as myself and a few others stand up for the rights of the people, do you all of a sudden take the safe side and you're for your public comment is a must. Wow, way to go. That's really showing that you have the power in your community. You know what? You guys are pitiful. You wait till a decision is decided before you ever get off your dead pen to do something about it. Why don't you do something in the front of an argument instead of the end of the argument? I guess you always expect a citizen to go down there and do your job for you. Let me tell you something, Pensacola News Journal and every other newspaper in the United States of America, you're all granted rights by the First Amendment. You have special rights, and the reason you're granted those special rights, you are supposed to look out for the citizens in your community to help fight against an intrusive government. You never do it. You wait till a decision is already made. You know what? Why don't y'all continue to write stories about the dog show, the flower show, and how the weeds are growing on the side of the road? You do that pretty good. Get off your pen. Start making community. Get in the community. Write the stories that need to be written. And when there's a wrong, get out there and make it right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your old Horsefly. Good night.